Hey Baker, like you, Joe Burrow is a former number one pick, Heisman Trophy winner. What have your impressions of him been in the way he plays? I imagine at the least you watched him in the playoff game against OU last year.
Mhm. Yeah, from the games that I saw him play last year, very decisive, gets the ball out, gives these guys a chance. Um, I didn't see them play the Chargers on offense, but um, I mean, real smooth, kind of you know, looks like a field general back there. Obviously, I think unbelievably talented guy, but I think his teammates love him and they really fight for him. That's what you can tell on TV.
All right. Thank you, Jake. We'll go to Nate Ulrich next.
Hey Baker, I know you talked a little bit after the game about you and Odell and Coach Stefanski has talked about it with us the last couple of times we talked about getting into the bottom of trying to consistently be on the same page. So after you guys got to watch the opener on film and everything, what do you think is the key to you guys getting on the same page without disrupting the offense overall?
I think it takes all three of us, just being on the same page. Just for myself, going through my reads, trusting those reads, and delivering the ball based on what those reads are telling me. I think we had some great one-on-one opportunities on some of those passes from Sunday, but just didn't connect. Some of those were the penalty, the grabs, the pass interference that we talked about. Some were just a little bit miscommunication, a little overthrow, but we're working on that, so we'll get it fixed.
Mary Kay Cabot, you have our next question.
Yeah, it seemed Baker, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it did seem like once you came out of the locker room at halftime on that third quarter drive, it was all Odell, Odell, Odell. I mean, and we asked Kevin about this yesterday. He said there was not a concerted effort to try to get him the ball coming out of the locker room. But why did it look like that? Why did it almost seem like you were just kind of forcing it to him?
I mean, based on if you guys were to watch it, there's a lot of one-on-ones, and we take our one-on-one matchups. I trust those guys, and that's what they're paid to do is one-on-one plays, and so that's a certain thing. If like my reads are taking me there, it might have looked that way, but it's a one-on-one matchup. So.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Daryl Ryder, you have our next question.
Hey, Baker, how much does the quick turnaround here, the fact that you have to play Thursday night, another division game, help you guys just forget about what happened Sunday?
Yeah, the quick turnaround just means you can't dwell on the negative. You're not going to beat yourself up throughout the week. You have too much to focus on. But there was a lot to learn from that game. You don't necessarily want to completely forget about it. You want to improve, learn from it, and get better moving forward.
And how challenging is it in that short timeline coming off a game and you've got to get ready for Cincinnati and you only have one game to really study with them? Just if you could talk about the challenges of getting all your homework done, getting all your preparation done in such a tight window while you're also trying to bounce back.
Luckily, they have the same defensive coordinator. So schematically, you're not looking at too much of a change-up. It's just a different bit of personnel stuff, like the normal change-ups from year in, year out. So it's definitely less exotic looks than we received with Baltimore. But you're right. It's the shorter week means you got to get all your studying done earlier in the week, and we have a bunch of guys that are focused and ready to go out there on Thursday.
Scott Petrick, you're up.
Hey, Baker, when you watched the film of Sunday, where did you think you need to get better at?
I think early on, just settled down. I think, there was a couple throws, just trusting to get it out of my hands. But then as the game went on, I felt, that I did do that. My eyes were in the right place, got the ball to, where the reads were telling me to go. So I think, a little bit of the first game jitters without the preseason might have, caused that. But at the same time, definitely need to be more settled in. And it just, you look back at it, and there's a couple crucial plays that let that game get out of hand. And a great team like that, like I said on Sunday, is going to take advantage of it.
When you say settled in, do you mean like comfortable in the pocket, just kind of more relaxed, or do you have something else in mind?
I would say just trusting my guys to be in their spots, not trying to do too much, get the ball out of my hands. There was one early out route that could have let the ball go to Odell, put it on the sideline for him to catch, and just moved on. But things like that.
Tom Withers, will go to you.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Hey, thanks, Bake. Hey, Bake, I don't want to pound this Odell thing into the ground, but I'm just curious. Obviously, he's an incredible luxury to have as an offense and as a quarterback. But can there be a tricky balance between wanting to get him the ball and needing to get him the ball?
I think it has to come naturally. Obviously, you game plan and you scheme up things to get the balls in your playmakers' hands. But then when it comes to game time, they're going to give us certain looks that might take that away. We had a couple plays for him early on, and the Ravens did a good job of taking that away. So we had to go through the reads and get the ball in other guys' hands. So it's just when it comes to game time, yeah, you can practice, and you might have a certain look all week in practice. But then come game time, they might show you a different thing, and you got to react and play and just move on. It's got to come naturally.
Is that more difficult than it sounds, though, Bake? Because you look over and he's one-on-one, and you're like, man, I got Odell one-on-one. Time to go to him.
Yeah, I mean that's when the alert goes off in your head. We got one-on-one with him. You want to get him the ball, but it's got to be the right scenario and the right situation for us to do that.
DD King Cabal, you have our next question.
Baker, when you came out, when you were drafted, all anybody ever talked about was your poise in the pocket. If you were to very fairly assess your poise in the pocket right now, is it where it was 3 years ago? Has it been affected? What do you think?
I'd say last year definitely declined, just based on protection and where my head was at. I'd say after looking at the film, pretty similar, and then just going through my reads, a little bit of improvement. I don't know.
When you say pretty similar, you mean to how you were in college, or pretty similar to a year ago?
College or the first year, not last year.
Okay, so you feel fully comfortable. You feel more comfortable with your protection this year than you did a year ago?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Marla Ridnour will have our next question.
Yeah, Baker, you said the other day that, that you hope this was a wake-up call. Can you tell any difference, resolve among the team, or maybe people are talking about working later tonight, or you know what I mean? Like just any better commitment from the guys?
I just think there's a sense of urgency, shorter week, obviously there always will be, but just about the little corrections and things that we can do better to improve. Like I said, I think we hurt ourselves very early on in that game. And so I think the focus is on eliminating those mistakes and playing our game, especially on a short week. Just do your job, go out there and execute, and don't have those missed assignments and mental errors.
Will you work, though, with Odell at all? I mean, maybe catching a few extra balls or anything?
The short week's not you can't nearly get the physical work as the standard weeks. So it's more of a mental thing. Hey, here in this look, I'm expecting you to be here. And just we got to trust those things and go out there and be on the same page.
Thanks.
Thank you, Marla. Jake Trotter.
Yeah, Baker, how much potential remains there with this offense comparing, what you guys still think you can be versus, what we all saw in the opener?
I think obviously there's a ton of room for improvement, but it's not just false hopes. It's there. I thought we ran the ball well early on. Well, we got away from it because the score was a little bit different. Obviously the ebbs and flows of a game force you to do that. But, I thought we ran the ball well early and just finding more completions early on for me. I'm going to be focused on that to where just, we're smooth and just going up and down the field, keeping the chains moving.
We'll go to Scott Petrick, and this will be our last question for Baker.
Hey, Baker, what do you think it's going to feel like in the stadium on Sunday? Thursday night. You had 6,000 fans. It's different than no fans in Baltimore, and it's a home game. What do you expect atmosphere-wise?
Better be a rowdy 6,000 in those stands.
Do you think that many people can bring some level of energy and normalcy
Yeah, I mean, it'll feel a little bit different. I think the biggest difference from being out there on the field after talking to everybody, during the TV timeouts, it's just dead quiet in the stadium. So I think just having some fans in there will make a pretty big difference. But then again, it doesn't matter where we're playing, who we're in front of. You have to go out there and do your job each play and focus on that.